Yeah, and I think one of the other things that I see, and maybe you have an opinion on this too, but project managers or management in general see sometimes that okay, we have this idea for whatever product it is, and then the requirements people want to spend several months
Hmm.
figuring out
Hmm.
okay exactly what are we going to build, and they're like, well, wait a minute, what do you mean, you need this
Right.
much time? It's like there's this, push to make things happen fast, compared to, and it's a very interesting dichotomy between, making it happen fast, but then what did you just build? If you
Right.
build something, did you build the
Right.
right thing? Or,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
do you see something similar for that within business
Absolutely.
analysts?
Yeah, absolutely. Matter of fact, I remember one insurance company. I had a training company. We were training exclusively business analysis and primarily requirements. And we taught all the BAs at this insurance company all these different techniques because, the BA BOK, the body of knowledge for business analysis has like 100 techniques in it now.
Wow.
But the BAs didn't understand that you don't have to use every technique on every project, and they were building those huge requirements documents. And so, yeah, there was a lot of pushback. And honestly, I truly believe that part of the reason that Agile came into being was a pushback on requirements documents, right?
I was just
Yeah.
gonna say that's exactly.
Absolutely, absolutely. Developers hate reading them. They hate looking at them. They actually don't like being told specifically what to build or how to build it. And so that was that really hurt the requirements industry for a long time because here all these people were telling companies, you don't need requirements. Just put a developer in the room with the user and they'll build whatever you want.
Yeah.
Now, everybody has figured out that that doesn't work. And now we have this topic of quote unquote agile requirements, which are just requirements like they always were.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think that there were a whole bunch of factors that contributed to the fact that we just don't do this well. It's hard. It's really hard work. I do actually, though, Jeff, really like and appreciate a lot of the agile practices and a lot of the agile thinking because,
Yeah.
again, like I was kind of beating up on, project management, but you can't collect all the requirements up front. You don't know everything that you're going to need to know ahead of time for a lot of projects.
Right.
And customers or users don't really always know what they want. I mean, if I'm building a mobile banking app and I've never done that before, I don't know exactly what my customers are going to respond to. So the idea of building a minimal viable product and figuring out what are the high priority features that we need and building those first, those are all really good things. So we've gotten a lot of benefit, I think, from a lot of the agile ideas. And we've also, I think, convinced them, and the Agile Alliance works closely with IIBA too, because IIBA now has some Agile Analyst certificates for people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because, and we've got a product owner certification too, because a lot of BAs do work in the product owner role. So there's a lot more recognition now that, yeah, we do need to have requirements. Requirements are really important, but we don't need to do all of them up front and try to get every single thing down, in those 3 or 4 month time periods.
I mean, is that kind of a where I think a lot of project managers and even some requirements engineers may think of this more as a waterfall, where you do all the requirements
Right.
up front, and then you go and you build it, and then you go test it, and when in reality it is somewhat agile in that just because you gathered as much of these requirements up front, that's going to change, and there's going to be some churn within that those set of requirements. So
Absolutely. Yeah, I've never worked on a project in my career where the customer didn't start to see things and go, oh, now that I see that, what I'd really like it to do are these other 3 things, right? And I remember one of the projects I worked on early in my career, we built, the requirements management, the requirements document were 3 huge binders. We had to roll them in a cart down to the user, and they signed off. And sure enough, once they signed, and I know they didn't review them, I was not allowed by my management to vary from that at all. So we had to build exactly what we had. And when they started looking at it and they said, well, that's not exactly what we need, we said, well, you signed, this is what you're going to get. It's a crazy way of doing things,
Yeah.
So I understand. And again, I think that's the positive thing about Agile is it's really encouraging BAs to think, and I think really we have to be creative to try to break products into reusable increments. Is there something we can deliver early? And I find users fight that, but the more that we keep talking about it and, encouraging them, they're starting to see the value in that quick delivery. But you still need requirements for that.